of character. I want to focus tonight on understanding the priority and the power of the process of leadership and character. And I'm going to do something very unique tonight. I'm going to combine the session that we did not complete this morning with the session tonight. So you're going to get two focuses tonight, and you'll see them come together. I'm going to talk about understanding this concept of character and how to define it, and then we're going to talk about how that affects your moral force. So I'm going to talk about this key, the foundation key of 21st century leadership. We will not survive the next 10 years if we continue the way we're going globally. The defects of character are so deep that there's no way our countries can survive. That includes your country. If we do not address the issue of defective character in leadership. I will show you this photograph fairly often tonight because the only, or should I say one of the only remaining images of a living leader who has embodied some measure of character that must be admired is the president of South Africa, Mr. Nelson Mandela. We have a few left on the planet that we can emulate as people who have shown us and demonstrated this measure of character that we are looking for. We want to mention a little bit about the components of character, which includes ethics and morality. And I will also show you a number of statues tonight for a reason, because this will be the heart of my definition of character. So our focus tonight is on the moral force of character. Now, in our session that we did not complete this morning, please write this down. I want to first of all take a quick look at the fact that character matters. We should not even have to say this, but apparently it is so lacking, we have to say it. Character does matter. As a matter of fact, I hope by the time I am finished that you would agree with me about my convictions that character is the most important thing that matters. Because in the end, all you have to protect you is your character. Let's talk a little bit about leadership first. And I want to stress that much of what I'm going to talk about tonight you'll find in the new book. And so please, if you didn't catch all of the information, be sure to invest in that material and take your time and read the book. Leadership is valuable and powerful. Let's talk about them quickly. Nothing happens without leadership. Nothing changes without leadership. Nothing develops without leadership. Nothing improves without someone taking leadership. Nothing is corrected in any situation unless someone emerges and decides, I'm going to fix this. Like Martin Luther King Jr. or Mother Teresa or Mahatma Gandhi. These are people who decided something's wrong with this. I'm going to correct this. Leadership is necessary for correction in society. Also, nothing succeeds without leadership. And the problem is everybody's always being led by somebody, even though you may not be conscious of it because you are being influenced by someone. And so it's important for you to be aware of who is leading me, or who am I following, or who am I allowing to influence my life? And we're going to see why in a minute that's so important. Let's talk a little bit about some questions about leadership, because everyone thinks that, leadership is a simple matter, but here's some questions about leadership. Is leadership about power? Is it about position or talent or skill, authority, or is it about physical traits? Is the leadership about social status maybe? Something the leadership is about family heritage. I was born into a family of politicians, so I'm automatically earmarked to be a national leader or something. Or I was born into a family of pastors, so I'm automatically earmarked to be a spiritual leader or something. This is not necessarily true, but people take this kind of thinking, and they try to make that a part of their leadership mentality. But here's a big one. Is leadership about charisma? Which is a very important study that the Greeks did and the Romans adopted. And of course, they have exported that to us in our colonization experience, that there's certain gifts that a person has that makes them different from everybody else. This is very dangerous. They call it charisma, which is a Greek word that means giftings of the gods. What about leadership concepts and philosophy? I always give you mine. This is my belief about leadership. I believe that everybody was born to be a leader, but not necessarily over people. You were born to be a leader in an area of gifting, and therefore, trapped in every follower is a hidden leader that needs to be released, and you were born to become that leader, but the process is important. Every human being possesses, I believe, the capacity to be a leader, but most of them will die never manifesting that capacity. And I also believe that you were born to be a leader by attracting people to your gift, and you serve them your gift. It is that service that makes you valuable to the people. So leadership is not about your personality. It's not about your skills or your academic achievement. It's really about you serving your gift to your generation. The problem is, if you never find your gift, you will never find your leadership. And so leadership has more to do with self-discovery than it has to do with finding followers. This is why all true leaders never sought followers, none of them. They were too busy pursuing a passion based on a gift that they discovered that they were born to serve their generation. So leadership really is about serving yourself to the world. I call it self-distribution. I remember the question was asked, who wants to be the greatest? The answer was, whoever can be the greatest servant. Not necessarily slave or subservient. He's talking about whoever can serve himself to the world the best. The world will consider him great, of course, in the eyes of the Creator as well. So this is what my philosophy is. Now, my definition of leadership is always important for me to repeat, because I never assumed that everybody heard me before. And plus, these CDs travel the world. What is leadership? My definition is simple, yet complicated. Write it down. Leadership is the capacity to influence others through what? Inspiration, not manipulation. And that inspiration is generated by a passion, motivated by a vision that the leader develops or exposes. And that vision is birthed from a conviction in the heart of the leader. That conviction comes from a sense of purpose that they discover. So it's a very interesting complication of becoming a leader. It's the process. I always tell people to become a leader, you have to turn the sentence upside down and start from the bottom. In other words, to become a leader, you must first discover your purpose, which then leads you to a deep conviction that you were born to do something important for humanity. That conviction, it shows up in pictures. So we call it vision. That vision becomes a passion for the person. That passion inspires other people, and once you inspire people, you can influence them, or they allow you to influence them, and that influence is what we call leadership. So true leaders never seek leadership. They are too busy pursuing a purpose. So when a person wants to be a leader, tries to be a leader, pursues to be a leader, that's a very dangerous person. If you study true leaders, most of them are reluctant leaders. They never wanted to be leaders. Circumstances drove them, or a passion drove them, or a conviction took over their lives. This is why true leaders never seek power. Matter of fact, some of them actually hate power. They love to empower. Completely opposite. Their desire is to make other people great, to free other people, to make other people prosperous. True leaders are completely contradictory to those today we call leaders, because they seek the good of other people, not the good that people can give them. When I read about leadership, I remind you of these two statements, one by Abraham Lincoln. Here's a man who was a reluctant leader. He says, concerning the position he had on slavery, he told his party, his own political party, he says, slavery is wrong. Black people should be freed in America. Do you know that most of his party members owned slaves? And they said to him, you are crazy, we're going to kill you. He went against his own political party. Show me politicians who will do that today. Your conviction should be bigger than your political platform. You know, think about this. All those who were in his party and government at the time, we remember none of them. Write this down. Your convictions make you historical. You are not remembered for what you compromised on. You are always remembered for what you stood for. If you compromise, I guarantee you'll be forgotten easily. He said these words, I have said nothing but for what I am willing to live by, and if it be the pleasure of the Almighty God to die by. End quote. The guy says, look, I'm already dead when it comes to this conviction about slavery. I always say that real leaders are dead people. That's why you can't hurt them, you can't insult them, you can't criticize them, you can't oppose them. Why? They can't feel. They are dead. They've made a decision already. They have an agreement and a contract with death. Some of them actually invite death into their lives. Like Mahatma Gandhi, who sat in that prison and said, I'll never eat another morsel of food until the people of India are free from the yoke of colonialism from Britain. He imposed his own death. No wonder why they had to make sure he didn't die on their hands. Here's another one, almost 100 years later. Read. It says what? It is an ideal for which I hope to live for and to achieve, but if needs be, it is an ideal for which I am prepared to die. End quote. Don't they sound like they know each other? Two different lifetimes, separated by years and years and decades, and yet the same spirit. These are dead men. That's why you couldn't kill them. I believe one of the greatest statements about leadership is found in these words. If you save your life, you will lose it. But if you're willing to lose your life for a cause that is noble, they will never erase you from the books of life. You know, in this conference, you got a choice whether you will be remembered or forgotten. And most people are so useless to their generation that they literally need a tombstone in the earth to remind us that they used to be here. I hope that this conference will destroy your need for a tombstone. That you would etch your name in the hearts of humans because of your willingness to die for a cause, to help humanity become what they were intended to be, that you will never be forgotten. Leadership, therefore, is not about finding something to live for. It's about finding something to die for. This is leadership. And this is why all who claim to be true leaders suddenly are tested. And the test is not to destroy, the test is to prove. The moment you decide to step out in your gift, all hell breaks loose. The good news is heaven also breaks loose at the same time. Go ahead and clap. That's a good place to clap. When you find a cause that is worthy of self-sacrifice, you become the beginning of a leader. Write this statement down. True leadership is born when you discover the problem in life you were born to solve. I am of the deep conviction that every human came to earth to solve a problem. Most people don't ever find the problem. So they basically get a job. The fourth statement on this slide is very important. True leadership is a personal commitment to sacrifice yourself for a public cause. This is very important. True leadership is what? A willingness to personally sacrifice for a public cause. Some of the things I've been through in this country, what they did to me, personally, I was willing to bear it. You think about Mr. Nelson Mandela, who I will refer to a lot tonight. This man had a wife and children and decided he would give up his family for 27 years. A personal sacrifice for a public cause. Martin Luther King Jr. had a wife and children. I spoke to his daughter many times, Bernice, and she would say to me, I don't know my father. I don't know him. She says, I never saw him. I saw him on TV as a child. I saw him leading all these people with hoses and dogs, but he never was my daddy. It was a personal sacrifice for a public cause, and that's why we can't forget him. Your problem is you are so protective of your personal protection. You have no public contribution. This is leadership. You cannot change the world and have a normal life. I know what I'm talking about. I hardly sleep in my home. I was counting the days I spent at home this year, and I'm embarrassed. But it's the public passion that demands the private sacrifice. And that's why most people prefer to be followers. Followers can have a 9-to-5 job and watch TV from 6 o'clock. And we forget them. We put tombstones where we lay their bodies to remind us that they used to be here. What a tragedy. I put it to you, when I think of this woman, Mother Teresa, a simple teacher of high school in India, decided, I'm going to quit my job. And she used her last paycheck to buy food from the street vendors to distribute to the beggars and the lepers on the street. would you use your last paycheck for other people? Personal sacrifice for a public cause. Write this down. True leaders do not seek followers. True leaders attract followers. Why? Because followers are attracted to the person's gift. They are attracted to the person's passion that makes them attractive. And that's what makes the leader the leader. People are attracted to their gift. It's like a fruit tree. A fruit tree never brings its fruit to you, because its fruit is its gift. It attracts you. And this is why attraction inspires people to submit their energy and their time and their resources to your public cause. Can I just warn you that when people start gathering around you, never believe it's about you. See, the problem begins when you think it's all about you, that you are the leader. No, you have something that they want. And this is why most of the worldly celebrated people, famous people, always collapse under the weight of what they call fans. Because they think people come to them. I know why you're here. You came here to this country not because of me as a person. I know my gift. And it doesn't belong to me. Can I suggest it this way? A fruit tree never eats its own fruit. Because the fruit is never for the tree. It's really not about you. And the mystery is, when you go to a fruit tree, you ignore the leaves, ignore the branches, you never look at the bark, you don't care how big the tree is, you have one focus. Tell your friends, calm down. This is not about you. So give them the fruit. Clap your hands right there. This is the leadership is about service. It's about serving that fruit to the world. And this is why true leaders don't have ego problems. They have no pride problems. Why? Because they know it's not about them. I like what Jesus said, the great leader. He said, I didn't come to be served, but to serve myself. A ransom to many. He knew what made him famous, not his personality. That's why today we have no idea about his personality. Have you ever thought about it? We don't know what kind of man he was. We have no photographs of him. No one knows how he looks. Nobody. And yet he's in people's minds every day. What picture do you see? You don't see a photograph of a person. You see his character. You see his fruit. His works, he call it. Great leaders never need tombstones. Reminds me of Moses, huh? We have no idea where he's buried. Don't know how he died. And we assume God killed him. The Bible simply said he was no more. That means God killed him. But they said in a nice way. And the reason why God did that is because he wanted to prove that your life is bigger than your cemetery resting place. Live in a way that it doesn't matter where they bury you. Let your life be bigger than your grave. And that happens when you find your gift and you serve it to the world. Write this down. True leadership is therefore not measured by how many people serve you, but by how many people you serve. The more people you serve, the less you will be forgotten. %90 of the people on the planet Earth are focused on self-preservation, looking out for their own selves. You spend your life living for people, you will never die. This is true leadership. I want to therefore say to you that leadership really is not just finding a job. Let me give you a list of what I call the kind of leader we need in this century. First, we need leaders who can plan. Secondly, leaders who can make tough decisions. Thirdly, leaders who can inspire and motivate people instead of manipulating them. Fourthly, we need leaders who can respond to change, flexible. And then we need leaders with honorable character. And I put that at the bottom because that's what we want to focus on in the next few moments. Character. True leadership is not a right, they say. It's a privilege. People don't have to follow you. And I always make a point here, write this down. Trust is the currency of leadership. In the economy of human influence, trust is the currency. You cannot lead people who don't trust you. So the problem is, where do you get trust from? And my conclusion is, trust is a product of character. A person of character can be trusted even in their absence. That woman downtown in my country, we are not there. We are on a different island tonight. But I can tell you exactly what she's doing in her absence. Why? She is character. She can be trusted in a hurricane to still be there. She can be trusted in the heat wave at 100 degrees Fahrenheit. She can be trusted when the rain comes like acid. She just sits there. I wonder what makes you collapse. Temptations in the dark. What do you do when everyone is sleeping? What would you do if no one would ever find out? What do you do when no one is watching? These are questions of character. Character is displayed in public, but tested in secret. And if you want to be trusted, you have to pursue with all your passion the direction of character. That's been my life's goal. I live right so you can trust me. Because trust is not a gift. God doesn't give you trust. There's no gift of the Spirit called trust. Trust is earned by consistency. What did I say? Write that down, please. Because you see, the problem with leaders today is they change every day. Not only day, they change a few times in a day. Trust. Character is the source of trust. And so if we can focus on trust, we can understand how leaders can fulfill their roles. Let me give you the roles of a leader real quick. Leaders, first of all, are supposed to provide vision for people. And then they transfer that vision to the people. They're supposed to build a team to carry the vision out. They're supposed to empower that team and trust them with responsibility. They're supposed to direct the team toward results. They're supposed to manage priorities, which is very important. And then leaders must possess and live by values, which means that they must cultivate a high standard of moral ethics. I don't trust a visionary who has no values. Your big vision doesn't impress me because I don't know who you're sleeping with in the night. Values are more important than vision. Principles more important than power. And sometimes we pursue the academics of leadership and not the morals of leadership. We become experts with clay feet. Skillful people with no foundation. This is dangerous. And that's what we have today. Let me give you quickly the 12 keys of leadership. You want to become a leader? Take a photograph of this and then I'll charge you later. The 12 keys to become an effective leader. Number 1, what is it? Purpose. Number 2, passion. Number 3, compassion. Number 4, vision. Number 5, principles. Number 6, trust. Number 7, competence. Number 8, inspiration. Number 9, priority. Number 10, moral conviction. Number 11, dedication to a cause. And number 10, character. And I put it on the bottom because it is the foundation of the whole building. Leadership is vital. The most powerful force of a leader is character. It's a force. It has its own energy. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish I had 2 weeks to talk to you about this. I really wish I did. Because please read the book. I spent 12 years with that book. When I realized that character, a person with character don't have to say a word. They can walk into a room and change the atmosphere by their physical presence. There's such a force. Write this down, please. Number 2, character protects the leader. It protects the leader's life, his leadership, and his legacy. Character protects the leader's life. It protects the leader's leadership and protects the leader's legacy. When Mr. Bill Clinton died, what will you remember? That young lady's name still comes back. His legacy was canceled. Who's more famous, Delilah or Samson? You answer the question. Ladies and gentlemen, your character is all you got. And I hope that this summit will put so much fear in you that you will never again consider the possibility of selling your character for any price. Clap, man. You make me nervous. Sound like you all want to make deals with your character. I would rather walk away from everything and keep my character. I'd rather lose all of your friendships and keep God's love with me. Don't sell your character. Write this down, please. Character is the manifestation that shapes who you will become. Your character controls your development. It tells you what you will become. You can actually control what you will become by protecting your character. Without character, every other aspect of leadership is at risk. You know that. You've seen the flies fall. You've seen the big, heavy players collapse. Somehow, we think we are so smart, it'll never happen to us. I've come to make an announcement. It will. If you tamper with your character. Character extends the longevity of a leader. Write it down. If you want to make it to the end, it's not difficult. Just decide in this session that you will live the rest of your life protecting the integrity of your character. I won't leave you without instruction before we close. I'll show you what character is so you can know exactly what to do with it. But it will determine your longevity. In my circles that I move in, which is a few circles, I meet people in politics, in business, in religion, and in all kinds of corporate settings, and I could almost earmark the ones who won't make it. I meet some powerful preachers, and after 2 minutes with them, I go, this one is on his way down. And everybody's clapping while I'm weeping. Because they confuse gift with character. Your gift is only as safe as your character. Your gift can never keep you. How many gifted people today are walking the streets because they violated their character? Ladies and gentlemen, I want to give you what I call the moral force of character. Character is in the long run, it is the decisive factor in the life of an individual and also of a nation alike. Roosevelt said that. This is the president of a country. Maybe we need more presidents to learn that statement. He says, character in the long run is the decisive factor in the life of an individual and of nations alike. I like this one. This is Myles Munroe. Here's what he says. A leader's gift is only as safe as the character that contains it. Your character exists to hold your gift. It is only as safe as your character. What you are now could be destroyed next week. Another one I thought was interesting, and you'll find this in a new book. I talk about this. A leader's values are personal, but they are never private. I repeat, as a leader, your values are personal, but they're never private. In leadership, there's no distinction between your personal life and your public life. We get this idea, somehow it exists in our leadership psyche that what I do privately is no one's business. it is everybody's business. The minute you spend my tax money, your private life is my business. Oh boy. You know, you hear stories of politicians going on vacation or going to a seminar somewhere, and they spend $50,000 for a weekend, and now they are in jail. But it was a private seminar. Your values are personal, but they're not private. I keep myself privately clean to protect my public life. How about you? Because your private life can cancel your public life. What are you doing right now that we don't know about that can destroy your future? You came to this conference to cancel that behavior. Because you are too important to us to lose you. The gift you have is so vital that the world will be robbed by your private foolishness. I need you to be faithful. I need that. Because you are my friend. Everywhere I go, I carry all of you with me. Everywhere I go. Even in the dark. I carry you with me because I say they trust me. Live with people's trust on your head. That's all you can. Charisma is a dangerous thing. Write this down, please. People become leaders when they make the decision not to sacrifice their principles on the altar of convenience or compromise. That's when a leader is born. A leader is born when somebody captures a conviction that they refuse to compromise. That's when leadership is born. In other words, the greatest leader of all times said these words: what good will it be for a man if he gains the whole world and yet forfeits his soul? And then he asked a question: what would you give in exchange for what you could become? With all that's ahead of you, you got another 20 years of greatness. It could be canceled in 20 seconds by a bad decision in the present. I live in the present to protect the future. I make decisions consciously with the future constantly on my mind. I told the young people in our organization, in our ministry, for the last 5 or 6 years, I said, look, God always gives you instructions, and if you obey them, you are wise, because all the laws of God are given to help you enjoy your memories. Please buy the CD just for that statement, because you don't understand what I just said. The laws of God are given to protect your memories. Let me put it another way. Before you make any decision, ask this simple question: will I enjoy remembering this? It's a tough question. You know this woman ain't your wife. She's been calling you for the last 5 months. You got to the point where your weakness has grabbed a hold of your sanity, and you're about to call her back. And the auditor in your mind calls you first on the phone of life and say, will you enjoy remembering this? You see, there are people sitting right next to you who got memories they wish they could forget. And it happened 50 years ago. If you do right, you'll enjoy your memories. I was a virgin when I married my wife, and so was she. Boy, what a wonderful memory. What a memory. Not many in this room got that joy. Made some dumb decisions. Don't add to the ones you hate to remember. Thank God for forgiveness. You know, the Bible is an interesting book. The Bible never says that you will forget them. It says what? God will forget them. It didn't say you. You got to live with that, God says. That's a dumb decision you made. You live with that. I'll forget them. See your forgetfulness, but you got your own ocean. Tell your neighbor, if you won't enjoy it, don't do it. Say it again. If you won't enjoy remembering it, don't do it. Look them in their eyes just in case they think about doing something next week. Come on, tell them. If you don't remember... Don't even think about it, he said. Yeah, you got to enjoy your memories if you live right. Is this good stuff? Yeah. I want to give you then some things about character. Write this down. Character prevents a leader from hurting those around him. Write that down somewhere. Repeat that in a speech. Character does what? Prevents a leader from hurting those around him. Wow. Oh, what a beautiful thing. If Tiger Woods had only thought, my personal decision is not private. He hurt millions of people, including me. Sure he did. I was so proud of this young man. Character is about protecting the people who trust you. Number 2, leaders influence the mindset of the followers. Therefore, leaders influence the characteristics of the followers. The last one is most important. Leaders influence the morality of the followers. Therefore, leaders influence the destiny of the followers. You can destroy people's destiny by your personal character default. We must have leaders who protect the people by their character. You know why it's good to talk about this in a meeting like this, in a summit like this? Because you with people who believe the same thing. So you got a support system here. And I hope you come back every year thinking, I'm going with my friends. We are a different breed of leaders. We are the ones who set new standards. We found some people who believe you can live right and still become a billionaire. Clap loud. Leaders influence the destiny of followers. You know, the greatest leader that ever lived said these words: if the blind lead the blind, they don't go in different ditches. They both fall into the ditch. Can I suggest to you, you are going exactly where your leader is going. You know, some people ask me the strangest questions often. They say, Dr. Munroe, I know my pastor ain't living right, but he's a good man and he's a good preacher. What should I do? Leave the church. Yeah, but he's my bishop and he was my daddy's bishop. No wonder why your daddy's dead. You don't cover for nobody. If the blind lead you, same destination. There are some people who I could call 1,000 names who are associated with, and then I discovered something about their character. I confront them. I always do. I confront them privately. And they refuse to change. I tell them I will never come back here again. Sometimes you notice I don't go to certain places anymore. It's because of a character discovery. Because I am not a ditch dweller. Tell your neighbor, I'm not a ditch dweller either. I don't dwell in ditches. You're on your way to a ditch, you go by yourself. Your destiny is tied to people's character. Write this down, why character matters to you. This is the conclusion of this segment, then I'm going to close a little bit on morality. But let's write this down, why character matters. Number one, why does character matter? I want everyone to get this CD, please. Matter of fact, these two CDs are the most important CDs you will have in your life for a while. The one you heard just now about this one thing, boy, that's powerful, Doc. Thank you so much. Oh, you got me. Give him another hand. That's awesome stuff. Yeah. Write this down, please. Why does character matter to you? This is number one question. Here's the answer. It matters to you because, first of all, character establishes and strengthens your inner life so that you are a person of integrity and honor. Number two, why does it matter to you? Because it enables you to effectively fulfill your purpose and potential. Why does character matter to you? Number three, because it protects your leadership and your vision. It prevents you from canceling your vision and leadership permanently and enabling you to leave a legacy for your own generation and future generations. Character lives beyond you. And that's why it is important to you. It is important to you because it protects you and generations. When my wife had my son, and the doctor gave me the baby to hold, I held this little boy in my hand. And I'll never forget, my wife and I had talked about what we're going to name our son. He's the one you saw standing next to me today, that handsome fella. And I said, I'm going to give him my name. But I had to think it through for a minute. Because I knew if I ever gave my son my name, it will force me to live right. Otherwise, he'll be cursed forever. I want my son to enjoy being named Myles. I want him to go into the bank after I die and they say to him, oh, you were the other Myles. Your father's name was good. The only way I can do that is with my character. Because a good name is better than silver and gold. Protects generations. Second question, why is character important to the world? First, to you, but why is it important to the people around you? Number one, because it is the key to inspirational leadership. People need the encouragement and the influence of genuine leaders if they are to fulfill their own purpose and live peacefully and productive lives. They need people with character around them to help them do that. Secondly, it is safeguarding the well-being of those who are under the authority of leaders or are otherwise affected by leaders' actions and influence. That's why it's important to the world. And thirdly, why is character important to the world around you? Because it enables leaders to build and maintain a healthy communication of communities around them while addressing critical problems with ethics and integrity. You know, it's very difficult for you to talk about stuff that you ain't doing. Now, this is where we get into the moral force of leadership. The moral force of leadership is character, because character is the only thing that gives weight to your words. Your words have no weight. The weight of your words is in your character, not your volume. The weight of your words is in your character, not in the size of the words you use. The weight of your words are in your character, not in the sophisticated sentences that you can complicatedly put together. How many times have you sat listening to a speaker and every word they spoke you canceled in your mind because you know too much about them? I wonder if people are canceling your words. I live my life to make my words heavy. Write that down. Live your life in such a way that every word is heavy. But I will give you even a better suggestion. Live your life in such a way that your silence is heavier than your words. Question of character has a heavy silence. It's a moral force. Never give an excuse for not trying to be perfect. I'm going to say it again. Never give an excuse for not trying to be perfect. I didn't say you're perfect. Never give an excuse for not trying to be. Let your words be heavy by your character. Oh, my heart is so heavy with this. I look at this picture. I love this picture. Martin Luther King Jr. Heavy words. Have you ever heard anywhere in history where people took a day to celebrate a man's speech? Let me say it again. This is unheard of in our times. All over the world, 2 months ago, the whole world celebrated a man's speech. There are millions of books on the shelves, and no one celebrates them. It wasn't his words, you see. All of us can say, I have a dream, but we only remember one person who said it. because his character made the words heavy. How heavy are your words? I've heard preachers preach, oh, Lord, I get this. I'm saying, turn it off. Why? I know you, man. And you got people shouting amen after you. They are so stupid. Some of them even know you and still saying amen. I mean, I'm like, everybody's blind. Jesus said, they both go into the ditch. And really, I'm not taking this lightly. This is serious. Your weight of your words is your character. Don't prepare a sermon. Prepare your life. Because your sermon is only as good as the life that backs it up. Your character gives your content weight. This is what it's about, man. It's not about getting applause. Because people can clap for a musician or a magician. You go to the circus, you clap for a clown. Don't look now, but there's one right behind you. Everybody say character. It's the moral force. Write this down, please. To educate a man in the mind and not in morals is to educate a menace to society. Write that one down, dog. When I read it, by the way, this is in my new book. I had to put it in. This is so powerful. To educate a man's mind, but not his morals, makes him a menace to society.